Set.
What's up, guys? Welcome back to our channel. Before we get started, click that start button. Give us a hoot.
Hold up, everybody. Good morning, everybody. It's Friday, and we have a huge weekend of football. You've got some big matchups with a lot of playoff implications on the line. Starting with Oklahoma going down to Alabama. We are going to find out if Alabama can run the ball. I think that's a big question. They've struggled to run the ball, and I think if they can get their run game going down the stretch, they could be setting themselves up for a deep playoff run. If not, win it all. There went that Red Bull. Let's see here. What up? Welcome in. Welcome in. Friday, sports talk. Texas and Georgia. Obviously, that's a big one. I've seen a lot of people on Texas talking about Arch is going to have a legacy game. But do you know that Texas is 1-5 all time against Georgia? I'll ask the question, at what point do you say, can Sark win the big one? Obviously, that we had a situation like that at Penn State this year. James Franklin, he made it to the playoffs. I think they're going to regret that. I think that Penn State is going to regret losing Penn State's going to regret letting James Franklin go. I also think James Franklin might end up at Arkansas, even though I think Virginia Tech is the best spot for him. That fan base is desperately asking for some build back of their program. And they have one of the most electric entrances of all time. Imagine James Franklin running out his team to that environment. And if he does decide, I mean, like, let's face it, if James Franklin goes to Virginia Tech, there's a lot of recruits, and I mean a lot of recruits, that are going to end up over there with him. There's a lot of recruits that he had it because James Franklin could recruit. James Franklin was in the playoffs last year. How do we let him? How do we? Obviously, the loss to Oregon. I don't know. It was one play, right? Other way around. Do they lose to UCLA? Probably not. Maybe. Do they lose to Northwestern at home? Probably not. Maybe. You could be looking at a complete different scenario with James Franklin and Penn State had Oregon not made that play. It's Oregon obviously again made one play at Iowa this weekend, and that gets them closer to sticking it in the top 12. Top 5. Let's see here. Let me go. So the Ohio State, Indiana, Texas A&M. Let me go here. So, Clemson and Louisville. I'm not sure if Louisville still controls their own destiny. I haven't looked at that part of it yet, but I mean, when you're looking at the playoff rankings, and I know there's still 3 games left for a lot of people, so there's going to be some shuffling. Like Oklahoma, they lose this weekend. I don't know how far they drop, but I assume it's going to be far enough away that's going to be tough for them to get inside of probably the top 10 to be safe. So Oklahoma in Texas, like if those 2 teams lose, they're out. You know what I mean? They have big games. And like I said, are we talking about Sark Monday morning? If he doesn't win the big game, I mean, he's, Texas, he builds a great roster. There's a lot of talent over there. And he's an excellent recruiter. And the NIL money is great. At what point do you start asking the question of, can he win the big one? I've seen a lot of the media, though, on Texas and Arch Manning because of Georgia's secondary. Are they going to be I don't know. Are they going to be exposed? Now, I go back to Georgia. Alabama's got some excellent wide receivers, some excellent talent on that team. But in the second half, they didn't score. So I don't know if that secondary is as bad as people say. It's definitely not definitely not top tier, not one of the best ones they've had. But it is it's enough to, and they played some freshmen this past weekend, some snaps on third down and such at Mississippi State that looked really good. I expect they're probably going to see a little bit more of a load this weekend. So when you're looking at the top 5 here, Minnesota and Oregon on a Friday night. Could we see madness there in Eugene with PJ Fleck? Yeah. Is Dan Lanning going to get beat at home tonight on a Friday night? It's when the madness shows up. This might be Ohio State's bye week. I'm pretty sure it is. Yeah. No, I don't know why it was showing up there. No, they play UCLA this weekend. College football has been so good to us. The chaos every single weekend. I mean, that really, truthfully, is what throws the question of the day out there. It's like, let's see. Which upset is most likely to happen? I mean, you tell me, who do you think has the biggest chance of being upset this weekend? Obviously, a lot of people are on the Texas upset of Georgia at home. That one is, I'm not gonna rule it out. It's there. So like they definitely can. You've got UCLA. It's at Ohio State. No, it's at yeah. It's in the shoe. UCLA traveling to Ohio State. I expect Ohio State to roll there. Indiana has Wisconsin this weekend. Wisconsin had a big win last weekend against Washington. Stormed the field after knocking off 23 ranked Washington. Very interesting. Yeah, that's could that be? Could it happen? Yeah. Texas A&M. These teams like South Carolina, Wisconsin, UCLA that I'm talking about there, they have that nothing to lose mentality. They may have came into the season with high expectations, especially Beamer's boys. They come into the season this weekend, with high expectations. Obviously, things have not went their way, injuries, etc. But now they're playing, these top teams and have a chance of an upset. How likely is South Carolina going to College Station and beating A&M? You tell me. I don't know. Lenore Sellers may go off. Might be his legacy game. upset A&M at home. That would be wild. Alabama obviously hosts Oklahoma. What Oklahoma is, let me see. Let's see. Bama, obviously, let's see. All right, there they are. Let me look at the game cast here. So with Oklahoma coming to town, Alabama is, so it's closed. It opened at 7.5-point favorites. It is now 5.5-point favorites. Yeah. But the Sooners, it's a Sooners defense that Brent Venables has always had going back to his Clemson days, like the defensive line for Venables has been, he is that guy. So I if Alabama can't get the run going, like I said, there's so many interesting games this weekend that could go either way. When you look at it so Georgia obviously hosting Texas, that one is quite possible. Texas Tech, where'd that go? Texas Tech host. What are you doing? Come on. I remember I had this up. Texas Tech host, or maybe this is their bye weekend. Nope, they host UCF. I knew that. UCF has been. Let me fix that. UCF has been a spoiler. They've last weekend, I think, let's see, UCF. They lost to Houston by 3. Baylor. So they've kind of just been inconsistent. Well, my boy is not having a day. So, yeah, okay. Jackson. UCF, just the inconsistency, but at Texas Tech, I don't see any changing there. When you talk about Ole Miss has Florida coming to town, and this one is such a big one because I think it's the Kiffin Bowl. Kiffin has my thoughts are, if Kiffin doesn't get in the playoffs, or just in general, if he doesn't get into the playoffs or make a deep run, does that alter his future? I think he's taking one of these jobs. I don't know which job, and there's been obviously some talk about both. But he hold up. Wait a minute, boys. Oh, I need to do the mobile. Whoops. Yeah, I forgot to pull up the mobile preview. That's on me. That's on me. That's on me. That's on me on 3. 1, 2, 3. That's on me. All right. My bad. Let me. I'm back. I'm sorry. My Sadie, my doodle was barking at anything. And now she's already got too much energy, but she just drank some Red Bull that had spilled on the floor. What happens when you give a dog Red Bull? Give them wings? Probably not good, but she'll be all right. Surely she'll be all right. Yeah. Keep bumping the microphone. My fault. Probably not. That's probably what happened to my other one. Thought she was gonna be all right. She's fine. She's fine. Surely. Also, there's 2 games tonight with implications. Well, implications, kinda. Louisville and Clemson. Can Clemson do to Louisville what Louisville did to Miami? What was that? Week 5 on a Friday night. Like, chaos happens on a Friday night, and then Minnesota, who knocked off Nebraska on a Friday night, travel to Eugene, Oregon to play the Ducks. Could we see some? If either one of those teams win tonight, this weekend is about to be a roller coaster. If Minnesota upsets Oregon or Clemson upsets Louisville tonight, we are in for a roller coaster this weekend. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Yeah, I go back to what I was talking about with what is wrong with you? So undefeated wise, what do we have? 3 undefeateds left. Indiana A&M. I don't know if there's any quote unquote lower schools that might be still undefeated. I don't think so. So the question is, which undefeated team loses first? That's yeah, which undefeated team is going to lose first? I mean, you kind of look at all the teams here. I mean, you've got Wisconsin, Indiana, South Carolina, A&M. Is A&M for sure? We're gonna have them lose, but I mean more or less. Will they lose in the regular season? And about Texas Tech, like, did Texas Tech get so much of an adrenaline high from everything last weekend? Could it affect their game with UCF this weekend? Usually that's the way it plays out. I'm not saying they're going to lose at home to Central Florida. But they were national champions, you know, a couple years back. There's North Texas. North Texas could end up being the 12 seed, especially with Memphis losing. I think that hurt them. You could see Iowa beat USC this weekend. Iowa plays a really physical game, shrinks the game. I think that one is definitely one to watch, even though it's at USC. I think the bug of Iowa losing last weekend to Oregon when they had a shot to win. I mean, they, quote unquote, they did win, if you will. But then the defense just let Dante right down. Now, he made some that one throw on the right sideline was filthy. That far sideline catch, he put it where only his guy could get it and almost like handed it to him from that far. So I don't think, so there are 3 undefeateds there's so much more that's going to happen to this ranking right here I don't see it's going to be there's going to be some chaos still. Does Notre Dame deserve to be in? Probably find out this weekend what Pitt does to them. But there's a lot of people that are on the. Let me go here. We them boys. Hold up. We them boys. We making noise. Give me a follow. I appreciate you being here. Talking, talking sports, entertaining the greatest weekend of college football that we're going to see. And then the NFL slate's pretty good. Speaking of the NFL, Drake May is good. He looks like he's been in the league for 8 years. And they say he went and trained with Josh Allen in the offseason. If that's the case, and I'm a young quarterback in the league, bruh, I'm going to train with Josh Allen all offseason. Because it has Josh Allen improved tremendously. Drake May, it wasn't like he just got better. The whole team last year was not good. And Vrabel turned that ship around. I'm interested to see what the Jets do in the draft next year. Picking up 2 first rounders is crazy. But then also what they got for Quincy, their setup. Are they going to take a quarterback? Because of the Justin Fields contract, I think I will go out on a limb here. I think Justin Fields is a good quarterback. I think that offensive line breaks down on him way too much. Doesn't have time to throw, so he's skirt there. So I personally, I don't know. It's going to be interesting to see what they do. I believe that was Aaron Glenn's trade and sign. And if you go back to see Aaron Glenn coming from the Dan Campbell tree, you go back to Jared Goff's first weekend, or first weekend, Jared Goff's first season with the Lions, and it was not pretty. So, but again, I guess it's really, is there a quarterback in this draft that they will spend one of the first rounders on? I'm not sure that there is. But when I go back and talk about and that's the NFL, obviously. It's the NFL, we're just looking at the NFL light with college, and I don't mind it. Just think there needs to be some contracts. And I assume there will be some contracts at some point. But I did have. Yeah. Oh, this was the breaking news yesterday. Why? Why?
Why does Sark need this Georgia win?
This one's personal. Texas hasn't beat Georgia in years. We're 1-5 all time, and that SEC championship loss still stings. Sark needs to win, not just for rankings, but for respect. He's proven he can build a roster and compete in the SEC, but now it's about showing he can finish the climb. Beating Georgia on the road in that hostile Sanford Stadium environment would silence every critic who says Texas can't hang with the SEC elite. It's a signature win that defines an era.
I don't know why it would be. My bad. I don't know. If it's...
This team needs that kind of win big time.
Why does Sark need this Georgia win?
This one's personal. Texas hasn't beat Georgia in years. We're 1-5 all time, and that SEC championship loss still stings. Sark needs to win, not just for rankings, but for respect. He's proven he can build a roster and compete in the SEC, but now it's about showing he can finish the climb. Beating Georgia on the road and that
Sark game is going to be interesting. But breaking news yesterday, Colorado Athletics Director Rich George is set to step away in July, the school announced. George hired head football coach Deion Sanders. I'm wondering if he's stepping away because he sees what's coming down the pipeline. How safe is Deion Sanders at Colorado? I think if you were to get, I think he's a good coach, and I think he can recruit just by who he is. I think if you put him in a program like LSU or Florida State, one of these brands that are up there, he'll recruit. I think he would have a team. I don't know how many players are, quote unquote, dreaming of playing for Colorado one day. You know, they've not been that. Now, I know that's what they were trying to become out there, especially with Shador and Travis and all of them. Let me know if this is echoing. CBS Sports.
A brilliant performance again against. I'm the only one taking Texas. I'll go to Longhorn Island. Here's why. First of all, Arch Manning's thrown for 700 yards the last two games. That fourth quarter against Mississippi State was an eye-opener, and then he came out and had a brilliant performance again against Vanderbilt. That 700 yards goes against a Georgia team that is last in the SEC in sacks. So he's going to have time to look down the field. And they've gotten the ball out on the perimeter. Their pass defense at Georgia is only 8th in the SEC. So I see for another 300-plus day, and I know that Texas defense can hold up. I'm taking the Longhorns. They are in championship form. This is where they wanted to be from the beginning of the season. Hook 'em. I'm the only one taking Texas. I'll go to Longhorn.
So all of that is fine and dandy and probably correct. Except the part of, you're talking about Kirby Smart, who, when we go, I got a dog moving. Let me check them out. Having a dog that's having issues is tough, boy. Especially an older one. Probably need to call the vet back. Tell him that she's still not walking. Let me Brother, can you hear me now? Can you hear me? If you could hear me, give me a 1 in the chat. You got a lot of high school playoffs starting this weekend. I know in Georgia, I don't know about other states, but there are some really good we don't want the I guess we could put that Let me do this. Yeah. Ow. Yeah. Oh no, that's where. I don't know what this thing is doing. I don't know. It's acting goofy. But another thing is Diego, right? Diego, I think he's 23, if I'm not wrong. Yeah, so he's 23. And he gets a lot of hate for that. Mm-hmm. But I always go back to say, like, Stetson was 24 and 25 on his back-to-back runs. And so with that, I'm like, Stetson, when you talk about age-wise and things of that nature, it's like, I don't really know if it's as big a deal as it's made because of the there it is. What? All right, I'm gonna put that right there. My bad. I'm having technical difficulties on this Friday. So yeah, I mean, even as a Georgia fan, I think the most likely upset is probably Texas beating Georgia at Georgia. I think Oklahoma beating Alabama at Alabama is on the same tier, but which one is more likely? That's the ultimate question. Like NC State, I mean, they scored, and the only thing with NC State is they gave up like 48 points to Georgia Tech when they beat them. I know they scored, or maybe 43 or 42, something like that, and they scored up there with them. Miami may pick them apart, and Miami has a little bit better defense than Georgia Tech, especially with Ruben Bain on the line. Kid is phenomenal. So, you tell me. I'd like to, let's take a peek here. What is the, let's see, NCAA. So, okay, well, that seems to be interesting. Let me go here. So, question of it is, yeah, wow. Top 5. I'm going to be all up in the way. I'll just go there. So top 5 red zone offenses this year. Eastern Michigan, 100%. Oklahoma at 100% in the red zone. Take it with a grain of salt. I don't know how accurate that is with the AI system there. But Memphis, Hawaii, and then UCLA to follow there. Now, when you look at the top 5 red zone defenses, you start getting into Notre Dame. So Notre Dame's pretty strong in the red zone defense when the field gets shortened. Ohio State. I know Ohio State's having a pretty daggone good defensive season. People are saying it's who they play, all that, but that ain't really for me to look at. They're just playing the schedule they have, and if you watch some highlights of Jeremiah Smith, you gotta appreciate what that kid does. He's built different. If you were given 100, no. Could you, on 50 attempts, break up a fade in the corner to Jeremiah Smith. Could you do it? How many times could you stop Jeremiah Smith out of 50 from the 5 on a fade? I'm gonna say 0. I'm not even gonna claim it. I may get lucky. I may trip him. Does that count? I trip him. He's built different. He should be the number 1 receiver taken off the board when he goes. But I mean, they say he's staying another year, and the thing is with NIL and then to the NFL is some of these kids are getting paid more from NIL than they will on a rookie contract. And it's like, can you blame them? I mean, they're $2 million here, $2 million there. It's like their rookie contract. I don't know. It's like they stay in school long enough. There's going to be some big recruiting pitches for players at some of these schools that lost their coach. Obviously, the coach is coming in. He's trying to keep them. But, I mean, you're going to have, like, Cam Coleman from Auburn. Everyone's going to be after him. And personally, when you look at the wide receivers, it's crazy. Yeah, this is what I want. Yeah. We'll go fast. The wide receivers that are from Ohio State that are killing it in the league, I just go in 2020. I mean, even like Luke Farrell, tight end, was playing for the Jags. I'm not sure if he still is. Garrett Wilson. Garrett Wilson is really good. I just don't think the team he's on, unfortunately, has helped his success. Same goes for Chris Olave. Both of those guys are crazy. Ohio State has, in the past 5 years, Jackson Smith and Jigba, truthfully, probably the best. I don't know if my I don't know if that's working right. But Jackson Smith and Jigba is balling out there. Marvin Harrison Jr. seems to be getting better. I think with a better quarterback, you have a little bit better work there. And then Emeka Egbuka, Egbuka has been money this year. And how did we let the Buccaneers get him? Like, he fell to 19. He fell to the 19th pick. How do we let the Buccaneers get him? That's what I want to know. Because he is really good at the football. I don't know how much of a key matchup Michigan Northwestern is, but yeah. I think we're in for some for some chaos this weekend. It's I don't know what is. But I wanted to compare them to the LSU receivers. Like, is the LSU... That was bad. I apologize. That was bad. The LSU wide receivers in past 5 years. I mean, I know you've got Chase, and you've got Neighbors. Who else? Let me see. Let it load. Brian Thomas. I don't know what happened with. He kind of seems to be struggling a bit. Just with the ball, catching the ball. Oh yeah, Keyshawn Booty or Butte. Justin Jefferson, obviously. That's the fact that they were on the same college team. Like is beyond me. How the did that happen? Joe Burrow throw like it's an insane trio. It feels like, that might be what Mr. Brown is trying to build up there. Is the replica of LSU's national championship. Because he paid Jamar a lot of money. He paid... Let me see if it adjusts. I don't know. That's weird. Yeah, I paused it to see if I could. I was trying to refresh it. That's what I was basically trying to do, was just refresh it. Let me go live studio. It's back. It's back. You don't know me like that. I don't know why it's. But it's just stuck. There's like not any. For some reason, it's just. It ain't your fault, son. It ain't your fault, son. Let me find that. I forgot where I put. Oh, there we go. It ain't your fault, son. Plays of the week. Coming next week. Top 3. It ain't your fault, son. Plays of the week. I'm wondering if I need to all right, I'm going to end my YouTube show because I'm pretty much done.